In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today I have some very special guests here on the podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Shannon Malburg.
Kevin Rivera.
Yezi Williams.
DeShauna, Hollie.
Perfect. And Kevin, you are a veteran on the podcast, so you don't have to answer this question. But tell me your Waco journey. Are you a Waco native, or what brought you to Waco?
I am not a Waco native. I've been here at least 13 years, maybe 14. My journey started with the World Hunger Farm. So I came to Waco. I'd heard about the World Hunger Farm. I wanted to learn sustainable farming. So I got to learn to milk goats and plant things and do things organically there. And then Waco just rolled me in. So then I took a position with Waco Habitat for 2 years doing construction through AmeriCorps. And then I got a real job there after that. And then I just kept living here. So
I love that. And what do you do now?
So now, I guess, the highlight of the podcast is I'm working with community folks that are here and others to launch a community retreat space in Waco called Providencia.
Hey, thank you so much for being on today. Like I said, Kevin, you don't have to answer, but if you guys would like to tell your Waco stories, please do.
So Waco has kind of been like home away from home. I'm not necessarily a native. I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I have lived in Waco a few times in my life, and Waco has brought me back here again this year. The way that I came back this time is through my art. So I have different collaborations and partnerships here in Waco with Bridge Street Market as well as Providencia and other experiences like the art show that's happening and inside of Providencia. So yeah, that's kind of how Waco brought me here.
Oh, I love that.
And so, I'm a Waco native. I grew up here, born and raised. I left for 10 years. And I did not think that I was going to ever come back. But being born and raised here, like, family's still here. So I came back for family. So I've been back for about 12 years.
Wow. And I love all of your stories. And yours, I hear all the time from local natives who are like, I moved away and said I was never going back. And then guess what? I ended up back here. But we're so glad to have you all here today, especially with this beautiful project here at Providencia. So tell me what your mission is, how you got started, and what you guys do.
Sure, yeah. So our mission is a space to be and belong. And the concept, in a very broad understanding of it, started about 10 years ago. So Providencia is on a historic property in Waco that I've called home for about 11 years. And it just has always been a place that has brought me a lot of peace and healing of different types and a lot of joy and connection to nature. And about 10 years ago, I just knew that it was meant to be a retreat space and it was meant to be that for more than just me. And also the name Providencia started, I mean, it was just, I knew that it was supposed to be called Providencia because it was the area of Waco where it is located is the Sanger Heights neighborhood, but it's really the Provident Heights subdivision. Mm-hmm. So it's leaning into like the sense of place. But also the definition of providence. There's some different definitions, but the one I like a lot, and I have it printed so I'd remember it, but God or nature as providing protective or spiritual care. So it really has provided that for people. There's just such a connection to the natural world and just, feeling that sense of protection and care.
I love that. And, you don't have to go too much into your story, but kind of how did this get started? How was this, like, what was this born out of?
Sure. Yeah. It was born out of a recurrence of breast cancer to stage 4. So the house is actually on the market. So a lot of people who've come to it, they said, like, I thought this house was supposed to be sold, or I saw it on the market. And they're absolutely right. Last year, the house was on the market when I was in cancer treatment. But through a series of events and things falling through, it was just sort of a sign to, no, it's not meant to be sold. And this is the time that it's meant to be what it was always meant to be. So, took it off the market and just kind of walked in faith and just found, DeShauna and I have been friends for a long time, but just it's like, hey, DeShauna, what do you think about let's trying this, And she's like, it's always been a retreat space to me, or however you said it. And then she just started connecting with people. She's like, you should talk to so-and-so and so-and-so. And then I had my little list and started meeting people in the community to help collaborate and get it launched. So.
I love that. And so overall, what is your vision or what is your mission with this space?
Yeah, with that mission, a space to be and belong, really, it can be interpreted a lot of ways. So why I like that is, it can be a space for just you. You can come sit in the butterfly garden and just be, write some poetry, look at the butterflies, listen to the birds. It can be a place like what we've created with each other of these spaces of belonging that kind of ad hoc happen when people just collaborate on things together or, decide they want to offer something. And so you make your kind of own mini version of community for that particular purpose. That's what we're hoping to do.
I love that. And speaking of community, we have brought along some amazing community members here today who've already introduced themselves. But each of you are going to be doing some amazing events coming up or representing some of the things that are currently happening. If you guys want, we can kind of start talking about some of the exciting events that people can get involved with, how they can find out more, and what we can look forward to. So take it away. If you want to start, Kevin, do you want to?
Sure. So I am currently part of show at Providencia. It's put on by 507 Gallery, which is currently housed in Thirst Coffee Shop, but this is the first show that is in a different venue. And I first got involved when Josh was just thinking of the show and the concept of it. He told me a little bit about Shannon, but at that time I hadn't met you yet. And so when everybody finally got to the house, I was like, oh, I get it. Like this, it's right. When there's a lot of people in a space and people are coming in and out doing their thing, there's this kind of energy that I'm kind of used to living like in a multi-generational house, like growing up. And so it kind of felt very welcoming immediately.
I love that. And so with the art show, it is titled Healing Window. Tell me what we can expect to see. Tell me how the opening went, all the things.
Sure. So Josh first came out with the name of the show and kind of told us to play off of it or not. It was really up to us. And I think that a lot of the pieces do speak to nature and how that relationship can definitely be a positive thing for anyone going through any steps of healing through trauma. But so the show we had an opening on June 14th, and it was just kind of a beautiful time. You were there.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
But it'll be open until July 14th. But we do have some open gallery hours. So I don't know if you want me to go ahead and share that now.
Yes, please.
I have my notes. All right. So open gallery hours will be June 25th, which is Tuesday, 7 to 9, July 2nd, 7 to 9, and then Saturday, July 13th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. On that Tuesday, June 25th, there will also be an artist talk.
Ooh.
And so the artists, Trey Edwards, Yasmin Murphy, Cole Henry, and Josh Collins and myself will be there to answer any questions about the pieces.
All right, amazing. And how long will the show be up?
Until July 14th.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing about that. And I know this weekend there's going to be some amazing events as well. So please share more about those.
Yes. So segueing from the opening of the healing window into our movement healing experience that we have coming up on Friday the 21st, I'm really excited about it because this whole community, this whole vibe of Providencia, this is my first time visiting Providencia in person. I've heard about it in the past months, and it's just been such a like welcoming, homey feeling, coming in with the community, coming in and meeting Shannon. Like everything has been so like locked in like a puzzle. And so on Friday the 21st, we have 2 different sessions called the Melanated Mamas Movement Healing. Super excited about it. It's a lot of different things, like so many different opportunities for people to heal and also experience movement. But really at the core, as we're in June, it's Juneteenth today.
Mm-hmm.
And so celebrating it in honor of Juneteenth, women and men of African descent have experienced, turmoil, trauma experience. But it's like we always focus on like so much bad things, but it's like we really are in such an elevated space today as we're in 2024. We have a lot of like powerful and beautiful things that are happening, and so it's a really awesome opportunity to highlight those things, starting with the women. As we know, women are the birth of life, and not just life, but then like ideas and the intuition and all the things that are really coming about. So I think it's really powerful to celebrate and honor the melanated mamas to come out and come into this movement experience. And so as I was sharing earlier, movement healing is like a combination of different things. Like the closest thing you can compare it to is yoga, but I don't want you to come in and think we're about to just be doing asanas and poses. It's a combination of affirmations. It's a combination of setting intention, mindfulness, like really setting into that stillness, but also recognizing how movement is happening in and through us, just as our blood is flowing, our cells are moving. Even if you sit very still, movement is happening. So taking the opportunity to come into that awareness in our own body with the collective and, celebrating that moment. And the day before that, if you're watching this now, you probably already missed it, but don't worry. It's okay. These things are happening every month, or not necessarily every month, but seasonally. If you are into nature, into the summer solstice or even other solstices throughout the year, this one is going to be this Thursday. And so the summer solstice tea is a community gathering, an opportunity for people to come and really reflect on all that has come, leading up to this moment, because we go through these seasons just as flowers, plants, herbs, the sun, all the different elements. We all as humans go through our own shifts and phases, and, we wane and we evolve. And so it's really impactful to come together with community to say, hey, like, how's it been for you? How was the art show and everything leading up? Because as artists, that painting doesn't just come up like overnight. Like you didn't just make it yesterday. It took a process. It's a journey to actually develop this creation, And so as all of us musicians, dancers, poets, we all have our journey. And so it's really powerful to come together with community and reflect on how we've made it this far, and then also set our intentions on where we're going forward, and then sip some tea along with that, so our throats aren't, parched. So yes, I'm really excited about that. And like I said, the 21st on Friday, again, you may have a chance to make it. We have 2 different sessions. So one is in the Rising from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then you have a good little break. If you are still around, you can join in on the sound bath that's going to be happening. And then in the evening from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. will be the evening session. And just to clarify, I know a lot of people have had some questions. This is open for mamas, for melanated mamas specifically in this month. But don't fret, if you want to experience some movement healing, there will be some feature experiences in the coming months. You don't have to have children if you're not a mom, but you are an auntie or you are a sister. feel free to be welcome to come into the space. It's offered really for women in general.
I love that. Okay, perfect. And tell me more.
Well, so this is something that has happened in the past. So I hosted a poetry workshop in this past February on this concept called found poetry. So I used to be a teacher, and I worked with really little kids, and so I loved teaching poetry to my students. And I loved like combining art and poetry. I thought when Shannon asked if I had ideas for workshops, I hadn't thought that I would want to do a workshop. I love like connecting people. So I thought, oh yeah, that's my role. That's what I'll do. I'll just be a connector. But when I thought about things that I could do, it was like, found a poetry. I could do something with this. And so it's the concept of taking existing text and creating something new. And so I had only worked with kids before and taught kids. And so this was an opportunity to work with adults. And so, yeah, I just invited people to come with letters or like their favorite writings from books or things like that. And to just kind of explore like what they could create out of that. And then taking their words and like making an art representation. So that was last February, and so I hope to do another workshop in the fall maybe.
Okay, amazing. And it sounds like these are some amazing community activities for people to get involved in such a beautiful space of healing and community activation. With that, I know they also mentioned a sound bath. Do you want to talk about that and some of your regular programming?
Sure, yeah. And Yezi started speaking about that, but we have another healer in town, Laura Hempstead, and so she has a practice called, I think it's called Osage Creek Wellness. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the tree right, but so she's been offering monthly community sound baths, and we do those the third Fridays of the month. And ordinarily we do them outdoors at Providencia, but for the summer months we're moving them indoors to Good Neighbor, which is just 2 blocks away, so that because it's a noon time, so noon to 1, and that would just be oppressively hot probably for July and August. So we'll move those indoors for a couple months, but then we'll move them back outdoors. So she does an hour-long sound bath, and there's been a lot of interest in that. And so I've been encouraging her to consider a second time per month that she may be open to doing another community offering, so that we can accommodate more people who are really looking for that kind of thing, just a space of rest and healing. And for those who don't know what a sound bath is, because that's come up a lot, it's using quartz singing bowls and also a gong, some Tibetan like metal bowls, but it's creating different frequencies of sound that can penetrate into the cells of your, the deep tissues and cells of your body, and really can release and rebalance a lot of the energy in the tissues and your emotions. So a lot of people will experience deep relaxation. Sometimes you're going to feel certain stuff come up because it's rebalancing. It's trying to escape or rebalance. But it's a very healing space, and it's a communal space. So you can bring a yoga mat or pillows, whatever makes you comfortable, and just lean into that healing moment. So yeah, we'll offer those monthly. We also have been doing plant swaps fall and spring. So the times that people would normally be going through their garden, separating plants, deciding what to do with all this extra stuff. What you do is you bring it to the plant swap and you trade it with your neighbors, and y'all like expand your gardens. So that idea, we've been partnering with Texas AgriLife Extension Office and also the Master Gardeners. So they'll often bring some sort of instructional material or teach a little workshop at that time about how to, do something in their garden, and share seeds. And also the Neighborhood Association often comes out to get to know neighbors and let them know about other activities. So we do those in the fall and the spring. And then looking at my notes to remember what else we do. We've also just been hearing too from private groups. So these are things we're talking about that are just sort of offered to the community. But there have been groups that say, I've got my, my own, say I'm a nonprofit director and I would like a board retreat, we need a space to sort of decompress, vision, plan for our year. Or the community doulas of Waco came out. They had a training they needed to do. So again, just having like a homey space, do some training. So there's that opportunity also, you know, for groups to say like, you know, we just need a space to do our thing. You know, we'd love to host that. And then also Dinner in Waco, which was put on by Juanita Barrientos, who had founded Harvest on 25th. And then Paige Sullivan, who is at the wine shop, and I don't recall her specific title, but she procures all of the wines there. But she was the curator of the dinner, but they created an outdoor dinner experience called Berry. So they were, again, like leaning into the season, the berry season, having a summer-themed dinner outdoors, using rose petals from the garden for the ice cream and herbs from the garden, and then also all of these list of beautiful like local vendors and local farmers and, you know, dairies and things to create their meals. So, you know, also the space can serve the community in that way too, as a space that they could use for their private reason.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I absolutely love that. That sounds absolutely beautiful. And again, just all the amazing events and community activities. But the space is really for healing and being able to be at peace. And I love that mission behind it as well. Do you want to talk more onto that aspect of it?
Sure. Just in general? Or
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I would say, you know, yes to the healing. And we're definitely this month we are really exploring what that means, you know, communally and personally. So the artists have done their own personal reflection, and then as a communal reflection of that, like how does collective healing happen? How are we supporting each other in that process? And like with Josh's, you know, vision, when he had that healing window vision, you know, he was in Providencia. He was kind of like looking out different windows because he would, you know, we were housemates at that time. You know, he was a guest upstairs and spent kind of a sabbatical period of his life kind of transitioning. And so that is something that I think the space really can support. But also, I would say it also wants to support delight and joy and discovery and connection and some of these other things. You know, I mean, even, you know, just seeing the kids come out and there's just, you know, there's wood piles to jump on and there's like butterflies to watch and there's like all kinds of birds to like make copy their noises. You know, I mean, you know, I think it's such a neat place. There was such a creative, I don't know, energy that was put into the design of the place. Like if people come by, they'll think like, geez, I've never seen a house like this. And it's true. So some of those things I think can just really delight people of getting to interact with nature in a new way, with community in a new way, like getting to be a space that has seen generations of people in Waco live there, you know, and just kind of imagine their lives. So, you know, curiosity. So I think it can bring up these other emotions and experiences in people too.
Wow. Well, I absolutely love that. And with that, we'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime, rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at @bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo.
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 All right. Well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
And now, back to the episode. All right, and we're back. We were just talking about how beautiful the space is and how it's a wonderful spot for just people to get involved and come and see and just have those moments of healing and reflection. And I think that's absolutely amazing to see here in our community. With that, one of the questions I love to ask when we come back from break is, what is something you would like to see more of in Waco as a whole?
Definitely from the creative community's perspective and just myself as an artist here, I would really love to see more spaces to view art in different settings and contexts. I think that Shannon is providing the space, and it's a very special way to view art. It's I love house shows in general, but when you see a space that already kind of has like a very welcoming ambiance, and then you place art in there, it kind of contextualizes the pieces themselves, especially where they're placed. And so just coming from also an art education perspective, the more places kids can go and see art and be exposed to it, the better. And so I know a few galleries have popped up. When I was a kid here, there were like 0. So
yeah,
I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm seeing it now, and hopefully we'll definitely see more.
Yeah.
Oh, and my tag, you can find me on Instagram at kevinkit.art. And just bring your kids to all the art happenings that are happening in the city.
I love that.
Yes, Kevin Cute. Sure. So I think you said a really good deal of things, and I don't want to repeat what you said. So I might say a little unpopular opinion of what I think that Waco needs.
That's what from Dallas will listen.
You know, sprinkle, little Texas love. But I think that Waco needs more plant-based options, more like healthier food options.
Yes.
And not to say that it's like it doesn't.
Someone literally texted like in the Waco chat, like, "Where's the best vegan taco?" And I was like, I literally don't even know.
Yes. That was probably me asking. I was like, I don't know. Do you know? Yeah, I did hear that recommendation. So yeah, like having more like plant-based food options, alternatives, and not necessarily for vegans in general, but just because it's a great option to choose from. You know, I know a lot of people that, you know, kind of just choose what's available because it's accessible, and like the only things that you have to like travel to go get something that is better for you, or you have to pay an arm and a leg, or you have to make it from scratch. And it's like, to make those things more accessible. I know it's, you know, it's evolving. We're coming to that, but having those options, because for myself, I've been eating plant-based for about 7-8 years now. Wow. And, you know, I'm used to, you know, bringing a bag, you know, making something yourself. But I know that there's a lot of other people that just don't necessarily use their voice to say, hey, like, I actually need this. I'm just kind of like using this, you know, or using what's accessible to me. And so I'm speaking on behalf of those folks that maybe didn't say anything, you know?
I love that.
Yes.
And as a Waco native now.
Yeah, so I think kind of along with what they both said, but like more community-centered, like art and like dance and movement. Like I want to see like neighborhood galleries, neighborhood like studios, and like, and just also like us being able to capture like the different like artistic movements of those neighborhoods, and like being able to share like the history of art in Waco. Like I remember when like Art Center did the like show of Kermit Oliver. I was like, I had no idea who he was, and that he was in Waco, and that this is like all of that history that like I mean, Waco, I mean, it's for how small it is, like it has so much history, like good, bad, great. And so, yeah, just being able to see that and to being able to see that reflected in the different neighborhoods and different cultures.
I absolutely love that. And with that, it sounds like you guys are really working towards those individual things as people as well. Is there anybody you guys maybe want to shout out that has helped along the journey and helped you guys get where you are today and kind of helped? I would say you can shout out your mom, your dog, your grandma, but anybody that's helped develop that passion?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll share about my husband. He wasn't able to be present in the space, but my husband is lucid. He makes hand-wrapped copper jewelry as well as plant-based foods. And so he also assisted in, the arrangement of the healing window. And we both kind of like showed up in supporting the community. And something I really love about Waco specifically is that the community here is like, it's unconditional love, like straight off. Like we just met like 2-3 days ago, and it's like he's like my bestie, like just and every artist that has been a part of the healing window, like we, they walk into the space and we're like, yo, what's up? Like we're so happy to see each other because we really show up and block in. But yeah, I would like to shout out Lucid. You can find him on Instagram at Lucid Jeans, and you can also find some of his work exhibited in the healing window as well. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt, but you will find it. So
yeah, and tag yourself. How can we find you or find more information about you?
Yeah, so for myself, I'm primarily on Instagram. I'm at Movement Empress, so that's just Movement Empress, EMPRESS. You can find me there either on my story or post. Most likely you're going to see updates on my story that's more accessible. And then my website is touristmoon333.square.site. And so there you can find all of the other services that we have to offer, from movement to emceeing to, private sessions, one-on-one. If you have any ailments or injuries that you are recovering from and you need some accountability and support, I do offer one-on-one sessions in that manner. So if group sessions aren't really for you and you're like, I don't really want to go, to Providencia yet, I want to get acclimated, I do offer those services virtually as well.
Oh, and I'll shout you out. You're emceeing at Bridge Street Market.
Yeah, Bridge Street Market. You'll see this later, but you can find me. And there's also an open mic I'll be emceeing at July 2nd at Turn Up Waco.
Okay, perfect.
So
we love Hope. Shout out.
Yeah, so check that out. I'll be emceeing there and we can connect there.
Okay, perfect. And you guys?
I guess the person who I would really like to shout out is Genuine Poetess. She's not in Waco anymore. She's in the San Antonio area, but she was just instrumental in just like cultivating this like poetry scene that was also like this combination of art and activism, and a time when like you weren't seeing that here in Waco. And so and so it's just, I know for me and for many other like poets and artists, like that was just a pivotal time in our time here in Waco, and just her bringing us together. And then like you can kind of see some things that have sprouted from that.
Okay, beautiful.
I would like to shout out all of the community organizers that are trying to provide the space for these things to happen, because I think that what I haven't seen in Waco is kind of like a continuous, sustainable, creative or art scene. From my understanding, talking with artists in town and people in the past, is that there will be waves of creativity, but I mean, I think the spirit is always in Waco. And so if we can kind of provide the spaces or just the outreach for those things to happen, I think definitely, especially starting from the ground up with art education with the kiddos, I could see it being great. Like, it's great now, but I think it could be really awesome.
Okay. I love that. And then building on top of that, especially with Providencia, how can people get involved? How can we connect to that? What are ways that people can get involved? Do you need volunteers? How can we give back to you to make sure these spaces continue?
Yeah, great. Great question. Yeah, I would say, probably the best way is you can check out our website if you want to look at what kinds of events that we have and just sort of see it all in one place. So that's providenciawaco.com. So that might be a good first place because there you'll see kind of what the calendar looks like in general. You can read about the different events, but also there will be a little book of tour button. Ooh. So if you want to come out and, have us meet, see the butterfly gardens, kind of if you are a creative or you are a potential facilitator or just a community member who wants to see the space, but you want to kind of talk around your some of the questions that you asked, kind of like, what do you want to see in Waco? Like, how can this space serve our community better? And is that something either that you yourself personally can help offer our community, or that's just something you want me to hear so that if I learn about somebody who can offer that, we could do that. So that would be, a couple ways to kind of engage that way. And then we're working on the volunteer page. So we will have that as an official page, but in the meantime, just DM Providencia.
Slide in those DMs. That's what I did.
So yeah, through Instagram, we're on Instagram. It's also Providencia Waco. Facebook, it's also Providencia Waco. Any of those channels. And then info@Providencia Waco if you want to email. I'll monitor all that. Definitely welcome volunteers. We've got a week of volunteers right now. These youth from Houston that came through Grassroots Community Development, a partnership with them. So they are working real hard out there. We've had Mission Waco youth come. We've also really appreciated having adult volunteers too that have come, with certain skill sets. So if you've got construction background or if you've got, construction background's huge. If you have a gardening background, but there's always projects, and so we can definitely put you to work. And then of course, like as a facilitator, if you are just somebody who wants to offer something, I've had some people mention, that they, might like to do, say, like a writing art classes. Yes, you've mentioned potentially art classes. We've had people talk about potentially a writing retreat in the fall. We've had folks talk about a yoga retreat. Specifically maybe around infertility and infant loss. So there's been some of these ideas that people have had around creating, like Yezi's doing, like around specific subsets of the community. So like sometimes we're going to do stuff that's like real holistic and anybody come out, but then other times we're really honing in like, hey, this is a certain experience that we share in common, whatever the we is, like we have lost a child. We have this experience of coming from a place of African descent. And we need these safe spaces to be together. And so whatever it is, like we're also having those conversations and seeing what can the fall, the solstice time is great for us to reflect. Yeah. Like where have we been? What are we looking to offer in the next season, and listening well to the community. So yeah, bring your ideas.
Okay. I love that. And with that, of course, now it's your soapbox moment. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners today?
Let me know what I forget.
Look,
just come out.
Volunteer.
Yeah, come out. There you go.
Yeah.
Donations.
Donations are very helpful. Geez. I mean, it's a historic home. So we've got kind of, a running list also of projects that we need to have funding to do. But on our website, we have the ability for people to donate according to their interest area. So you can designate, this is for the butterfly garden, and it will help us, replenish plants, replenish mulch. Eventually we want to get little metal markers that will tell you the names of every plant and tell you if it's a native plant and if it's a butterfly plant and drought tolerant, so all those sorts of things. We'd love to have that. We've talked to some artists who are like sculptors and installation types of artists who've had ideas for pieces they might like to have be in the garden, either on a temporary or permanent basis. So, commissions, things like that. Like we'd love to fund that. So if you want to focus on the butterfly garden, you can donate for that and we will put it to those uses. If you want to focus on restoration of an old home because you love preserving history in Waco, stick it in the renovation fund. If you want to support people participating in events who may not have the means to, then we have a scholarship fund. So put it there. We'll know that that's for that purpose. And then we have a general program and events fund that will just help us do all these things that we've talked about, because there's a bunch of behind the scenes costs associated with that. So we try to have as much as we can go to the facilitators or the artists or whoever's, using the space, but then, just to help us with the behind the scenes too. would be for that purpose. So.
Yay. So get out there, donate, join in, and of course, come and see some beautiful artwork, have a moment of healing, and join in on some of these amazing events. All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me your energy. And if there's anything else, you guys are more than welcome to share anything else too.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you guys.
so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.